YouTube लाइव सेशन में आज हमारा टॉपिक है विंग्स ऑफ यूनिकॉर्न्स कर्टेल्ड बाय वैल्यूएशन कट्स। यूनिकॉर्न स्टार्टअप्स के वैल्यूएशन में मार्कडाउन्स कोई नई बात नहीं है और ऐसा लगता है कि इसने 2023 में मोमेंटम पकड़ लिया है। Several Indian unicorns like Byju's, Swiggy and others are seeing valuation cuts as big investors like BlackRock and SoftBank are rationalizing the value of their holdings. To begin with, markdowns do not have any direct impact on companies. For instance, despite repeated markdowns by big investors, Byju's still managed to raise funds at an indicative valuation of $22 billion last year. However, such markdowns could prove to be a hindrance for future funding rounds and IPOs. ये markdowns present market sentiments के साथ साथ funding challenges को भी reflect करती है, जिसे कई Indian unicorns face कर रहे हैं। अब बात आती है कि what sort of markdowns did unicorns experience? यूएस बेस्ड फिडिलिटी इन्वेस्टमेंट्स ने इंडियन ई कॉमर्स फर्म मीशो में अपनी होल्डिंग की फेयर वैल्यू लगभग 10% घटाकर $4.4 बिलियन कर दी। Incidentally, Fidelity had originally led the Series F round fund at a valuation of $4.9 billion. In another markdown instance, American investment firm the Private Shares Fund slashed the fair value of their holdings in the edtech firm Eruditus by 9% for the March quarter. This reduced the valuation of the startup from $3.2 billion to $2.9 billion. While these markdowns are alarming, a challenging situation would only arise for investors if the markdown surpassed 25%. Now, how exactly do funds carry out such value markdowns? Market valuation is typically carried out by comparing existing share price of unlisted firms with other competitors which are listed publicly. In India, public markets have undergone multiple corrections and hence funds have been compelled to either correct or write off investments depending on both companies' performance and growth in previous years. Presently, market sentiments are being driven by high interest rates, which has led to an increase in the cost of capital and caused startups to become profit-making rather than focusing purely on top-line growth. There is a reduced need for external capital, leading to markdown to validate valuations, and in the absence of profits and external validations through funding rounds, accounting standards and investor risk frameworks demand markdowns. क्या आपको लगता है that are markdowns really a clarion call for unicorns? Well, calendar year 2018 और calendar year 2022 के बीच करीब 105 कंपनीज ने यूनिकॉर्न का दर्जा हासिल किया था, लेकिन अब ये घटकर 84 एक्टिव यूनिकॉर्न्स रह गई है, क्योंकि उनमें से 7 का मार्केट वैल्यूएशन मार्कडाउन से कम हो गया था, जबकि बाकी 4 को एक्वायर किया गया. In addition, around 10 of the startups became publicly listed, hence getting excluded from the list of unicorns. While the median valuation to revenue multiples stand at 23x for the top 10 Indian unicorns. Recent markdowns and prevailing sentiments are expected to pull these multiple downs to more rational levels. However, investors are still seeking bargains, with multiple Indian startups becoming more attractive than ever before to global investors. Of course, needless to say, most of the global investors still yearn to participate in the growth story of Indian incorporation, especially with its promise of a $5 trillion economy and a robust startup ecosystem. Also, funders are still raising capital big time. Domestic venture capital firms and private equity firms have been successful in attracting a plethora of multi-million dollar investments over calendar year 2022 and calendar year 2021. Obviously, all that money has to be used up and cannot be idle for too long. Things have been quite amidst a funding slowdown and bearish global markets, but that is unlikely to last for too long. Historically, VCs and PE firms was dependent on institutional and strategic limited partner base such as life insurance and global sovereign funds, but the paradigm has shifted over the last 2 to 3 years. It is now a mix of Indian founders, family offices and angel investors pitching in as limited partners into domestic VCs and PEs. That is changing the rules of game and perhaps getting more skin in the game. But unicorn down valuation is surely time to reflect on the greater fool theory that was doing the rounds in unicorn valuations. That may be history. वेल वी होप आज का टॉपिक आपको समझ आया होगा. मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट लाइव सेशन में न्यू टॉपिक के साथ. मीन टाइम सब्सक्राइब करें हमारा चैनल ब्लिंक एक्स एंड स्टे अपडेटेड विद अस.